Ole Miss, LSU. We were on Ole Miss here. We thought this was a bad spot for the Fighting Tigers of Louisiana State, and sure enough, it proved to be just that. The Rebs 24 over the Tigers 19. What else can you say besides Ole Miss kind of stuffed LSU's offense in a locker? It's time to panic with the LSU offense, right? I mean, Nussmeier didn't look good. He might be hurt. Caden Durham did not get to play in this game. He's hurt. The running game was lethargic at best. They ran for 57 total yards. And I know that Trinidad Chambliss has a lot of experience at Ferris State. This was his first real big time moment, right? Coming in, everybody said, yeah, he's played well, but he hadn't seen a defense like LSU. Still got plenty of yards through the air. Still found a way to move that offense for Ole Miss. And LSU guys, it just feels like they're searching for answers that aren't there.
Mm-hmm. Man, I battled for LSU this week. I took them again. I was like, you know what? It feels like one of those spots where they're going to get stuff figured out. I think Nuss does have something a little more than what's being led on. Like, he doesn't look like he's the same gunslinger from years past. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, but that Ole Miss team just has no business being that good of a defense on Saturdays. Like, that Ole Miss team is I watched them play Arkansas, who's a pretty good offense. Like, right.
I know.
And it looked like we were watching one of the worst tackling displays I'd seen in a long time between those two teams. I just think it's unacceptable to get beat along the offensive line. I know LSU has like their question marks along their offensive line, but to have zero run game, zero protection for a guy who's already banged up, and just no real sign of life. Like, even when they were down a score, you're like, I'm not really sure if they got 65 yards in them. And they didn't. And then to go to the other side, like Chambliss, Lane Kiffin's going to give you open throws. Don't miss him. He didn't. Consistently on the money to guys who are that's a really good receiving core. Not a lot of people are given the flowers to. That run game's fun to watch. Lane Kiffin's a magician with a playbook, man. It's a scheme I'd love to have the all 22 and just sit as like a fly on the wall and listen to him explain to people, because it is so much fun. Maybe I still want to know more about Ole Miss. I want to know more about LSU. I feel like it answered a lot of questions, but if we're going to ask the same question we asked about Alabama and Georgia, what's the ceiling for these two teams? I'm puzzled. I'm still not sure.
I'm sure a majority of your guys' preview of this game was taken up by talking about LSU stagnancy just across the board on offense throughout the entire season. And here's, example 5. They're not fading away from having a stagnant offense and not being able to continuously put drives together. I think we had a different narrative, and college football's the king of overreaction, right? You win 17-10 against a Clemson team in week 1. You're like, all right, here we go. LSU's got a defense. They got a returning quarterback, which feels like a diamond in the rough in this year's college football game. But boy, oh boy, we're on week 5. This offense sucks. I mean, they just can't do it, man. They can't put it together. They're putting up 23 points against Louisiana Tech. Shout out to the Dogs. But unbelievable out of Lane Kiffin to just get enough to get done, because this was the week, I said it in previews, where even picking the games where it's like, I've signed these checks before and they've bounced. And that's James Franklin and that's Lane Kiffin in big games. Here we are signing these checks. Franklin's bounced. Kiffin finally gets one done for us. So shout out to Ole Miss. Take what you can get, but LSU's got a bad offensive problem, gents.
The offensive line struggling today was honestly a surprise to me, because I know they haven't been great, but I said in this game, I do expect the offensive line to have some success. Statistically, Ole Miss's defensive line had not done much. This is not a Walter Nolan-led defensive line, right? This is more speed than size and physicality. And yet it didn't matter, guys. I mean, these are all 5 stars from the boot, from Louisiana. These guys bleed purple and gold. And right now, they're not working together. No part of this offense is streamlined, is efficient, feels like they've really rehearsed it all that often. It feels kind of like Penn State's did in that first half, where it's like, oh my gosh, I know there's a game plan somewhere in there, but I'm fooled. This could be a backyard football game for everything that I'm seeing on the field right now.
Well, Mitch, let me help you show your work on that real quick, because you're totally right. I pulled this up because I had the feeling that it would look pretty bad. We're going to take rushing totals against Ole Miss so far this season.
Oh boy.
Georgia State ran for 191.
Ooh.
Kentucky ran for 172. Arkansas
Ooh.
ran for 221. Tulane ran for 178. How many yards did the LSU Tigers run for? 57. Shame on you, LSU.
Oh.
What are you talking about? A contender, maybe not. No, I'm sorry. They're not a contender. Their offense sucks. Like, you're totally right when you have to say that. Their offense is trash. They can't score against La Tech. They can't figure it out. I'm sorry. You just have a bad offense. You are giving up far too much. I know their defense is apparently great, and that's why they gave up a whole bunch of yards to Ole Miss. And, yeah, they gave up a whole bunch of yards to Florida, but they turned them over 5 times. So, like, congrats. I guess that's good. But they're getting into, SEC play, meat of their schedule. Ole Miss is not going to be the last team with a good offense they play.
Nope.
They're not going to be the last team with some playmakers who can make something happen. And if 20 is the number you need to beat them, then I think that they're going to lose a whole bunch of games this year. So, look, do I have an explanation for it? No. There's no reason why Garrett Nussmeier should be this bad at throwing the football at this point in his career. And there's no reason they should be this bad of a running-based team with the guys that they have on that offense. And there's no reason why they should have, with those receivers, nobody who can make that big of a difference. Like, there's just no excuse for it in my mind. So I don't know, like, is it just going to magically fix one week? Maybe, I guess. It's college football. Weirder things could happen. But at this point in the season, you got, 5 games under your belt. I don't think that there's any evidence this offense is going to look better.
I know
Great week
football
for a bye
fans
week
love
next week.
Brian Kelly. I know football fans love Brian Kelly, right? Everybody loves
Everybody,
him.
to a man.
It's just most liked coach in America. But does anybody want to let him know that when you go out and invest in a defense and it finally starts to work out, you might have to reinvest in some sort of your offense, buddy. It's not going to just keep putting itself together year over year, and you can throw all the money.
So much money, though. Like, they spent so much, but they bought receivers that was great. Like, they put money into it.
Where are they?
I don't know. I mean, you got Nick Anderson out here for 2 catches, 28 yards in this game. That's congratulations. How would you like to be catching passes from Mateer this year? Because that seems like a bad decision.
How about the longest rush of the day being 10 yards?
I
hope we got the sticks. Did he get a good spot? Unbelievable.
Was it 2nd and 12?
Harlem Berry, who's is he a true freshman, redshirt freshman, first face, 7 carries for 22 yards. That's your leading rusher in purple and gold. We got called idiots 7 ways to Sunday, guys, in our comment section by LSU fans who were saying my favorite comment was, this offense doesn't need a get right week. What on earth are you talking about? Have you watched?
Come to Jesus, brother.
Have you watched any of the games so far?
To those LSU fans, I just say Geaux away and also learn how to spell. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. Very similar to Penn State. It's like, gosh, you've got all the talent in the world, and it's not just, I think Nuss is hurt. He's got kind of some arch to him where it just, like, he doesn't look normal. Right. Like JP, like you said, he just doesn't look right throwing the football. But whether he is hurt or not, throwing into triple coverage, not a recipe for success. And he did that a couple times this afternoon. So, great defense. I love the job that Blake Baker's done. And it's going to be a shame if his job, his improvement from what was a historically bad LSU defense goes by the wayside because Brian Kelly farts around and finds another way to go 8-4. That would be one of the worst storylines of college football to me.
They're going to put up a great bowl performance in the artist formerly known as the Outback Bowl or whatever it is. They're going to put up a great performance in that game as a defense because this team doesn't have what it takes to make it in the SEC.
They go bye week, South Carolina at home, at Vandy, A&M at home, at Alabama. Like, I'm struggling to find one. Like South Carolina, maybe.
One win?
They could beat South Carolina. At Vanderbilt's tough because Vanderbilt can score. Texas A&M can score. Didn't do it today, but they can. Alabama can score. Arkansas can score. Oklahoma at the end of the year with Mateer, they can score. You may not have a bad point there. You might be onto something.
I mean, how about Vandy being undefeated? To your point, like
with Bama, we're going to Bama next.
Boy, they played Bama next. But I'm so excited.
Yeah, they did.
It was an interesting game against Utah State. The Aggies, not our Aggies, the other Aggies from out west, they were putting up some points in concerning fashion early on. They can. Really like the job that Mendenhall's doing out there.